Thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It is looking and it is feeling a little bit more like summer. Hope you're all safe and well wherever you are today. These are the current temperatures at the time of recording, just before 4 p.m. on this Tuesday, the 29th of April. Coming up tomorrow, I hope to have the May Outlook released. We will discuss that. Looks as if we do have the potential for a continuation of this dry theme. And, even the temperatures that are rising today, tomorrow, then we will start to see a bit of a drop-off in the temperatures as cooler air moves in from the north. The dry conditions that have been accumulating over the last couple of months may be a contributing factor to the type of temperatures that we are seeing both today and tomorrow. The heat is likely to peak tomorrow, but we may even see a day similar on Friday across the far south. Depends on the time of that cold front moving southwards. But you can see here the majority of Europe away from central and northern Scandinavia. We are talking about a reasonably summer-like feel across the majority of the continent. So a major, vast area of real estate is seeing temperatures in the 20s this afternoon. Looking specifically at the UK and Ireland, and you can see here that we have got 20 Celsius and a couple of spots here. Temperatures fluctuating slightly with the cloud cover moving in and out, but you can see generally 20 through the central belt, around the Inverness, just north and south of the Inverness area. We're talking about 20, 21 Celsius. We've even got a 22, 21.7 at Aboyne. A little bit fresher along the coasts, as you would expect. Water temperatures obviously substantially cooler than the air. That also increases the har and fog risk, especially as the temperatures start to kind of lower through the course of the night. We might start to see fog and mist develop. As we move through England and Wales here, we're talking generally it looks as if we're in the kind of 22, 23 range. It looks as if we've got a 24 at London St James's Park. We are likely to see another couple of degrees notched on before the end of today. So yes, looking very, very nice indeed. I think the heat will peak tomorrow over the north of the UK. I would not be surprised if we sniff out a 24 with a small chance of a 25 across the Moray Coast or northeastern Aberdeenshire, for example, through the course of tomorrow. Frontal system edging in from the northwest. Going to have a southwesterly flow with the help of sunshine and a little bit of Fern effect influencing things as well. We could see the temperatures rise to close to the mid-20s, I would reckon, tomorrow afternoon. Then we will start to see slightly increased cloud and outbreaks of rain through the course of Thursday, but the heat will continue to build the further south and east you go over the UK. So if we look at this is the rain, cloud and even snow threat. And notice here by 21Z Saturday, this upcoming weekend, we actually have some winteriness over the Cairngorm Plateau, for example. So that is a sign of things to come as we move towards the upcoming weekend. But before we get there, you can see here that there is kind of high-level clouds seen by the model here. And if you look at the latest visible satellite imagery, you can see that we do have some high-level cloud north of England and much of Scotland through the course of today. But I think that the skies are going to be clearer tomorrow, and therefore we should, see the temperatures maybe a degree or a couple of degrees up on what we're seeing this afternoon. But certainly down across England and Wales, we've got the largely sunny skies across the board. Ireland, Northern Ireland as well, with the exceptions of western portions of Ireland. We're seeing a little bit of high-level cloud cover this afternoon. But you can see here, if we look at the Met Office model here, this is a high-resolution model. You can see that as we play through the course of tomorrow, that we still have that high-level cloud, but through the morning hours and into the early afternoon, that cloud kind of breaks up, and that should, with the help of southwesterly winds, see the temperatures rise further than what we're seeing through the course of today. We'll also have a risk of a few heavy localized showers and even thunderstorms developing over the high ground of the Cairngorms and the North Highlands, for example. So we are we're going to increase the convection risk tomorrow afternoon with that strong surface heating that will spark off a few thermals and the development of a few local downpours in association with that warmth through the course of the afternoon tomorrow. And then as we play through the course of the day, you can see the development. Not so much, we're seeing that across Ireland and Northern Ireland, if you notice here, but not so much across England and Wales. And here we are likely to see the temperatures rising into the high 20s tomorrow afternoon. Bear in mind that tomorrow is the last day of April. We're going to be watching the maximum temperatures in terms of how warm can it really get before we end the month. Remember that the record is around 29 point something Celsius, and I'm curious to see how warm it gets tomorrow, but also I'm curious to see how warm it gets on Thursday. Could we, I think we've got a small opportunity of sneaking 30 Celsius, and if we do, as I said in yesterday's video, we may in fact see the earliest 30 Celsius in UK history. I think you have to go to the 12th of May, if I'm right in saying, for the earliest 30 Celsius, and that was set back in 1945. So that's the shower risk as we move into tomorrow, and then as we move deeper ahead, you can see that we are increasing the cloud, and we've got a little bit of rain associated with a frontal system that is going to edge southwards. Not a huge amount of precipitation associated with that by any stretch, but we are going to see a slight decrease in the temperature from north. That will then progress southwards as we progress towards the late week and into the early weekend. But it's the timing of that frontal system with this cloud and possible development of showers and thunderstorms as it runs into that warmer air mass that could peg back the temperature. But we may even see on Friday afternoon temperatures equally as warm as what they will be on Thursday. So looking at temperatures, the latest of the Met Office model is looking like this. So just bear with me a second here. Play through. This is during the course. Oh, get rid of that advert. So this is playing through the course of this afternoon, where the model's sniffing out at 25 Celsius. Western England, southwest, southeastern portions of Wales, down into the southwest, around the Somerset area. You can see that the model is indicating a 25 Celsius. So I would not be surprised if we see the first 25 Celsius of the year today, somewhere in the south of the British Isles. And as we move into the day tomorrow, we see the temperatures notch up even further. 27 is very, very possible. The model is indicating a 26, even in Yorkshire, for example, but also down towards the border between England and Wales. We're seeing 26s showing up. There's a 27 around the Somerset area. In and around the London area, it looks as if we've got a 26 showing. There's a 27 showing up as well. May even scrape a 28 Celsius. I think we're going to hold on to that April record, by the way. I'm not necessarily sure that we'll manage to reach 29 Celsius during the course of tomorrow. And then it's all eyes on Thursday to see how warm it can possibly get. So the model is indicating that we get 29. There's several 29 showing up in this chart, anywhere from the Somerset area right the way through the central heart of England into parts of Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, Suffolk. We've got 28, 29 Celsius. So we've even got 29 Celsius showing up Lincolnshire, possibly into the south of Yorkshire also. So the model, the Met Office model, has been consistent at showing 28, 29, even a 30 Celsius. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be worth watching over the next few days as to just how warm the temperatures may get. So yeah, but we do have cooler air coming in as we move into the weekend. It has to be said, this is a relatively short-lived surge of heat. Looking at the latest run of the GFS, this is the 500 millibar anomalies through the next 5 days, should I say. So this takes us to the out of April into the first 4 days of May. We've got a trough west of Iberia here. We've got this blocking area of high pressure that has been so dominant through this spring, really. We did have a blip around the middle portions of April, Easter weekend, etc. But that high pressure and dry theme has become re-established once again. It looks as if the modelling is trying to take that into the month of May. So this could be one of the driest springs on record for the UK when all is said and done. But if we play through the latest GFS run here, you can see that the high just shifts, the core shifts just to the west of the UK and Ireland. We've got a trough now dropping into the north of Europe here, and that is going to allow fresher northerly air to move back into the UK and Ireland. So we're not holding on to this hot theme for a prolonged period of time. But the GFS ensemble has indicated that the high, albeit slightly weaker than what we're seeing at the moment, building back in over the UK and Ireland as we move into the period 8th through the 13th of May. So this is an interesting look by the GFS, at least. We've got obviously a lot of different model runs to consider, but when you look at the precipitation here, this is how it's looking upcoming 7 days. Drier than average is the theme, and then play right the way through the loop. We're still holding on to that dry theme all the way to the 15th of May. In terms of the temperatures, you can see that we have a decrease in the temperatures. Very, very warm upcoming 5 days, especially into the central and western mainland Europe here, but not exclusively. We're holding on to this warmth, UK and Ireland as well, for the next couple of days, and then we're starting to see a drop off from north to south here. Now, the GFS ensemble here is essentially flirting with bona fide below average with the UK. We've got firmly below average central and northern areas of Europe, warmer than average across the Mediterranean basin and southern portions, and then we see a slightly warmer than average theme building back in as the high then retrogrades eastwards back towards the UK and Ireland. So it slips a little bit to the west, allowing cooler air to move in, and then it comes back in over the UK, sealing off what is a very dry theme overall. Let's have a look at the raw GFS operational run here real quick and see what it's indicating in terms of the anomalies here. So this is Monday 28th of April here. So this was yesterday. You can see the very, very warm air, temperatures as high as 10 Celsius above average across parts of Western Europe, including the UK and Ireland, it has to be said. So very, very warm into the month of April. Look at this here. Look at these anomalies. That is really impressive. Temperature anomalies, UK, Ireland, central areas, much of Europe really, away from the southeast and the northeast, is seeing exceptional warmth to end the month of April here. And then as we continue to play it through, you can see that those anomalies exceed 10 Celsius above average. And then as we play towards the weekend, you can see something colder trying to come in, but it's kind of flirting with the UK. If you notice, it's kind of deflected a little bit to the east of us. So we'll kind of watch this going forward here. Let's have a quick look at what the weather charts are indicating here. We'll look at the GFA. No, in fact, we'll look at the ECMWF real quick. Let's have a look at the 850s to see what kind of air mass we are kind of dealing with. Let's look at the bigger picture. So we'll look at the Atlantic Europe view. So at the moment, we've got milder in place, but it's not actually exceptionally warm. This is the interesting thing about it. We could potentially see 30 Celsius, but the 850s are not overly, exceptional. But this could be part of the reason for this warmth at the surface is this level of dryness across many areas of the UK and Ireland. But the majority of the UK soil is drier than average, and therefore it doesn't take as much to see the temperatures rising further than had it been wet. That is something to consider. But nevertheless, this is an interesting one. So you can see here that over the next couple of days, we are seeing slightly warmer air trying to lift northwards. As we move Wednesday into Thursday, we're flirting with the 10 Celsius at 850. But all the while, as that warmer air is trying to lift into the southern UK, we're seeing the change already showing up towards Iceland here. Area of low pressure and a frontal system associated with that is going to pull in some colder air into the north of the UK. So temperatures down into the mid-teens as opposed to the potential low to mid-20s. So it's not going to be a real sudden shock to the system, but we are going to see the temperatures drop a good 5 to 8, locally even 10 Celsius down on what they're going to be today and tomorrow, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But you notice here the area of high pressure is centred just to the west of the UK and Ireland. That is allowing this cooler air to come in over the top, down into the UK here. It's nothing exceptionally cold, but nevertheless, it looks as if the ECMWF is trying to push some of that cold air further south here, but it's all about the position of the high. Have that area of high pressure a little bit further west. It opens the door wider to this Arctic, late season Arctic air to drop more in over the UK and Ireland. But the area of high pressure, according to the ECMWF, is a little bit too close to the UK, so therefore the core of that colder air is getting driven down the North Sea as opposed to down over the UK and Ireland here. But yeah, we're flirting with something colder for sure. Then that area of high pressure kind of just holds in place. It's a little bit flatter. It's a little bit more stretched east to west, if you notice here. So therefore, we may have something more Atlantic influenced along the north side of that high. But generally speaking, it is a reasonably dry theme overall. And then as we move towards the period Thursday, 8th of May, long way out, Fantasyland, I get that. It looks as if the high is still anchored just to the west of the UK and Ireland here, allowing the greater chance of seeing something cooler from the north as opposed to warmer from the south if that high is positioned where the model is indicating here. So certainly a lot of things to consider here. I hope you're enjoying the content here in the channel. Like I say, I hope to have the May outlook released on the website tomorrow, given that it is the last day of April, and we will discuss that outlook in tomorrow's video as well. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe. Content absolutely free, 6 days a week here on the channel. We're going to look at the hurricane season. We're going to look at some of the longer range models with regards to the summer in the next few days as well. So stay tuned for that. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Enjoy the sunshine and stay safe. Make sure and put on some of that sunscreen if you're out and about. The sun is as strong as it is in the month of August at this point in the year. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.